Hello there YouTube. And I have no idea why I started that video by clapping, but okay. Today it is time for me to finally do the answers to my 2017 Q&A. Sorry if my eyes look a bit funny, but I suffer from hay fever. Nothing we can really do about it. But I have a list of questions here. I have no idea how many I've got. I've got a couple of pages. I've also got three questions here from my 2014 Q&A that I'm going to go back to at the end, purely because the answers have changed somewhat. So I thought I might go back and do a bit of an update on those. But question one, I'm just going to get straight to it. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to try and get through the questions as quickly as possible. So, okay, so question one comes from Rene Narima, and it says here, "Hey Alex, hey Rene, I have a question for you, which is, when did you get into filming buses?" Well, I started filming buses way back in 2012 when I started my channel. Well, actually in 2011, actually. Orange and mango. Back when I first started my channel in 2012, in September 2012, I uploaded some bus videos to my channel way back in 2012, when I was still uploading videos in crappy 240p quality. Oh, those were the days. But yeah. And I don't really know. I mean, I've been interested in buses since I was about 2 or 3. As long as I can remember, I've always loved buses. Way back into the days when I was still living in London, and one of the highlights of my week was going on a 229 every week, which back in the days that I was there was still being run on Plaxton Presidents. These days Arriva have taken it over, and thank God they put Enviro 400s on it and not Wright buses, because Enviro 400s are awesome. anyway, let's not go off onto a deep tangent on the first question. But yeah, it sort of just happened. I mean, I saw other people filming buses on YouTube, and I saw other people filming lifts on YouTube, and I thought, hey, I want to do that as well. So got a camera, got a YouTube channel, started filming buses and lifts and uploaded them. That's sort of how it started. Ning Sama asked, when will you go to other countries again other than Samoa, which is obvious. In fact, I leave to fly to Auckland tomorrow, and then we fly to Samoa on Saturday. And what countries will you visit? I have no idea, is the answer. I have no other trips overseas planned. I don't know when I'll go overseas, and I don't know where to. One thing to know, I would like to go to Australia at some point. I really want to go to Australia. Australia is currently the #1 place on my list of countries I've never been to that I would like to go to. So I'd like to go, I don't know, would I like to go to Sydney or to Melbourne? I don't know. Either Sydney or Melbourne, maybe. Probably Sydney. Who knows? Who knows, eh? I live in New Zealand, and Australia is, as they say here, across the ditch on the other side of the Tasman, so it's not that difficult to get to Australia if you're a New Zealand citizen. So I dare say I'll visit Australia several times in my life, hopefully eventually, but yeah, I'd love to go to Australia. So I hope, and also I'd love to go back to the UK again, obviously, because it's where I'm from, and I'd love to revisit in Hong Kong and Singapore and explore more. But these are only the places I'd like to go to, or like to go to again. I don't have any planned trips overseas, and I don't know when I'm likely to. An anonymous person asks, when you film level crossings, how far back from the crossing would you recommend stand? It's a matter of personal choice. I mean, if you look at the different level crossing videos on YouTube, people have their own different styles. I mean, I personally like to try and get the whole thing. I mean, the thing is, I don't have a tripod, so everything I do is holding the camera, handy cam, I personally like to get the whole thing in shot as the barriers are coming up and down, or at least one of the barriers in shot as the barriers are going up and down. And I like to get a close up on the lights at some point as well. So yeah, I like to see the barriers in operation, and I also like to get a close up on the lights. And also, you want to be far enough away that you can clearly see the train come through. I mean, I've done some videos where I've stood back a bit from the crossing, and I've done other videos where I've stood much closer. It's really just a matter of preference, and it's basically about I would say work out what you want to get in shot. I mean, the thing is, right, if I'm filming something, if I'm filming a lift, I am looking through the camera screen the entire time. There are so many things I have never actually seen with my eyes because I've been looking at them through the camera lens on the screen to make sure that everything is in shot. And that is very important. So work out where you want to be, work out what you want to get in shot, and focus on getting it in shot, and just sort of work out the distance away from things you want to be in order to get them in shot. That would be how I do things. Jaron Peterson class. I said that wrong. Jaron Peterson Clark says, I'm curious to ask, what is with your interest in elevators? Is it something to do with the mechanics of it, or do you just find them interesting? I just find them interesting. I don't know why. It's the same reason I don't know why I'm interested in buses. I just am. Speaking of buses, there goes one now. Is that 204 again? Yeah, it is. It is. It's a Howick. One of Marla's Howick ones. It's number 204. From where I'm sitting in the study room where my computer is, and I've got the blind up so I can see Discovery Drive in the distance from the window, so I can see buses going up and down the road. God, I've nearly dropped that already. Yeah, I just find them interesting, you know. It's the same way that some people just happen to be interested in football, or happen to be interested in computers or cars. It just happens. I really don't know, and I don't actually know that much about the mechanics of lifts. Mainly I only know from the things I know about the stuff I know about the mechanics of lifts is pretty much mainly what I've learned from watching Mr. Matt and Mr. Che's videos, and that's not a joke. Oh, and also a couple of things from talking to the lift engineer at uni, who's a really nice guy, I must say. David Donald asks, shouldn't you be concentrating on your university work and exams right now? No, I've finished my exams. Well, I only had one exam, which was for philosophy. This trimester, my English and history courses were both completely internal, so they don't have a final exam, which is not as nice as it sounds, because it means you have more essays and assignments throughout the course itself, which is actually, some people prefer. I actually find that more stressful, and I'd actually prefer to have to sit an exam, to be honest. That's it. Chu K Sen, I hope I'm saying that right, asks, do you like travelling? To an extent. I mean, as much as I'm interested in planes, and I do the occasional plane videos, I'm not the best flyer in the world. I can be a bit of a nervous flyer sometimes. I hate to, once I'm in the air and I'm enjoying it, I'll be fine. I enjoy it a lot more than I used to. I can't stand turbulence. I like travelling by ocean. I like being on boats. I like travelling by the sea. But we don't do that very often because my mum gets really seasick. Well, not really, but my mum... Well, not really, but my mum gets seasickness. She doesn't like travelling by boat, so we don't do it very often. And I haven't been on the Inter-Islander since I went on the West Coast trip with school, with college in 2015, which was at the beginning of 2015, so we're talking more than 2.5 years ago now, since I was last on the Inter-Islander. But, which is a shame, because I love it. But, yeah, and with regards to travelling by road, I'm not... The thing is, I like being in places, I like visiting places, it's the getting there, that's the thing. I like travelling, I like exploring new places, but it's the getting there that's different, that's the hardest part. Okay, now NZ Lifts, who is a really great New Zealand-based lift filmer, who makes some really great videos, just as good as mine, sometimes better, and you should definitely check out NZ Lifts. He's got 4 questions for me, thank you. What is the oldest lift elevator you have ever ridden, and did you find it scary? The thing is, I don't know. The thing is, I've been in lots of old gated lifts, mainly Express, some Otis, but the problem is, I don't know when they were built. Most of them, the oldest ones I've been in are probably around the 1920s. I know that the one in the old government building at Victoria University was installed in 1921. But I don't know if any of the other gated lifts I've been in are any older. I certainly don't find the one at Old Government House scary at all. In fact, it's the best gated lift I've ever been in. The reason why is because that building is a listed building, and so is the lift. And that lift is insanely well maintained by QnA, because the university are paying QnA a lot of money to keep that lift in good condition. And in fact, earlier this year it was out of service for 2 months while QnA did a complete maintenance check, and they did an overhaul of all the cables as well, and they've done a lot of work on it. So that lift is not in the slightest bit scary because of how ludicrously well maintained it is. And it's got an emergency phone in it. Before QnA took over, the lifts at Victoria used to be maintained by Schindler. Schindler have installed a phone in there, so if you were to get stuck, you wouldn't be on your own. Though, to be honest, it is in a bit of an atrium, so you likely wouldn't be stuck for long. But if that is the oldest one I've been in, then no, it's not scary. Some of the other old lifts I've been in have maybe been sort of slightly creepy, but they're not that scary. Second question from NZ Lifts. Did you prefer living in the UK or do you prefer living in NZ, and why? What did you miss the most? I prefer living in NZ. It's a nicer country, it's a better country, and it's a safer country. Full stop. What do I miss about the UK? Well, obviously I miss my family, all the people I knew over there, but I don't know. Do I miss anything? I mean, I was 9 years old when I came to New Zealand, and I've lived a far better life here than I was living there. I mean, I could say I miss all of the buses and lifts over there, but the truth is, they're not really important things. I don't know what I've missed the most. Probably I'd have to say my family. And the members of my family that I simply just don't get to see in person very often because I live on the other side of the world, but that's about it. If you were able to visit anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? I've kind of already covered this, Australia. So there's that. And question number 4 from NZ Lifts. What and where was the first lift you ever filmed, and who inspired you to film it? First lift I filmed, I think, was the Cable Car Museum in Wellington. That wasn't the first lift video that I uploaded to YouTube. That was one of my lift tours. I think it was Wellington. No, I can't remember. It was either Christchurch Airport, the Grand Arcades, or Wellington Hospital. I uploaded those 3 videos within about a week of each other, possibly even less than that, and I can't for the life of me remember which one of those 3 was uploaded first. I was inspired to film lifts by 2 people. Firstly, Diesel Ducey, so Andrew Rings, and the second one was Benno, who sadly I have since fallen out with for reasons I'm not going to discuss here, but those 2 people were, all those years ago in 2012, inspired me to start up this channel and film lifts. Okay, the next 4 questions come from Quirky Hat. The first question is, what is your favourite bus? That's a tough question. Probably Scania. I love Scania, however you want to say it, coaches, particularly models like the K280 and the K320. I also like a lot of other buses. I mean, I like certain Man 11109s, I like Volvo B7Rs. and I love the Enviro 200 as well. And the problem is, I like a lot of buses. That's the problem. I like a lot of buses, and choosing a favourite is very, very hard, but I'd probably have to go with the Scania. Number 2, what is your favourite bus company excluding Mana? Okay, yeah, we all know Mana is my favourite bus company, not just because they're my local company though, but because they're a really good company and they've got some really nice staff. Other than Mana, that's a difficult question. And the problem is, NZ Bus have got some interesting buses, but I don't think they're the best company out there. They've got, there are interesting buses, but company NCS have got some interesting buses, not so good staff, and a lot of their buses are not in good condition. Transit have got some really nice people, and I'm sorry Transit, but you don't have the most interesting or diverse fleet. I know that's going to change next year. Oh, I don't know. That is a tough choice. Thing is, I just put all of these questions in a Word document as they came in, and I haven't actually thought about them prior to recording this video. Oh man. I mean, I'm limiting it to those 3 companies, NCS, Transit and Go Wellington, mainly because they're the only other companies other than Mana that I frequently use. Probably out of the 3, I'd probably have to go with Transit. I mean, NZ Bus have got more interesting buses than Transit, yes. But I think Transit provide a better service. They've got better customer service, and they've got some really nice drivers, some really friendly people, and I think that's what counts. I think for me to like a company, I mean, thing is, it's for me to pick a favourite company, it's not necessarily about whether they've got the most interesting buses per se, it's also about what that company actually is. NZ Bus have got loads of interesting vehicles, but they're all vehicles that other bus companies operate as well. Well, particularly companies like Mana and Howick and Eastern and Ritchie's and other companies, they own the same sorts of buses, you know. And I think Transit are just a nice company. They've got nice people. Quirky Hat also asked, what is your favourite non-NZ built bus? Well, that's a bit interesting because technically the only NZ built bus is the design line, the Limbus, and even that uses some overseas parts. So, because technically they're all imported chassis, sort of European, generally European chassis, either MANs, Volvos or Scanias, that just have a New Zealand built body. But if we're going to be technical and say a bus that isn't built in New Zealand at all, I want to say the Enviro 200, if it counts. The problem is those Enviro 200s were built in the UK, shipped over to New Zealand on a boat in pieces, and then assembled here. So I don't know if that counts. In honest truth, I haven't really been on any other bus that's been built outside of NZ. Oh, I suppose you could count, unless you count some of the ADLs and Wright buses I went on in London, or if you count the Gemilang, I always say that wrong, Gemilang bus I went on in Singapore, which was really nice because I love Scania, and Gemilang are a really good bodybuilder, I think, as well. They are a Malaysian company, and that they have built some buses for New Zealand, but all in Australia. Actually, I have been on a BCI City Rider. That's not built in NZ, but that was crap. But it was an older BCI City Rider, and the older ones are crap. And I've been on a Sunlong. That was crap as well. That was really crap. Oh, of course, MCV. How can I forget MCV? I've been on several MCV Evolutions. I like those as well. I've been on some MAN ones for Bus Travel NZ and Transit and Go and NCS, and I've been on some Enviro 200 ones with Transit as well. In all honesty, though, I think I would have to go with the Alexander Dennis Enviro 200. It's a bit cheeky considering that some of them are actually assembled here, but technically they're built overseas. And then MCV second place. And final question from Quirky Hat is, what is your least favourite non-NZ built bus and least favourite NZ built bus? My least favourite non-NZ built bus is the Sunlong that NCS bought. Not only is it really badly and cheaply built, but if you watch my video of that bus, which I filmed earlier this year, there's literally nothing of interest there. It sounds boring. I mean, the BCI City Rider that I went on with Transit was very boring as well, but where's that mint? It was slightly more, no, it was slightly better built than the Sunlong. So the Sunlong was crap. And least favourite NZ built bus? That's a tough one. I mean, well, it's never going to be Kiwi Bus Builders, so it's either going to be something by Design Line or Fairfax. I mean, the problem is, I mean, I'd love to say the Mercedes-Benz 0305s that Mana have got, but in fact, well, actually, yes, I will say them, because, I mean, I was going to say that the problems with them aren't really Design Line's fault, but actually they are, because they've been made longer. They changed the gearbox from manual to semi-automatic, and the gearbox is crap. They've been made longer and with a heavier body on, but with the original engine, they're not powerful enough, they're slow and they're crap, and I hate them, and I can't wait for them to end up in a junkyard. I would quite personally like to buy one of those Mercedes-Benzes, particularly bus number 115, purely for the purpose of setting it on fire or pushing it off of a cliff. So there you go, you have my answer for that. The next 4 questions come from Lift and Rail Photography NZ. Who inspired you to film level crossings? I have no idea. I think I just watched several level crossing videos on YouTube and decided I was going to join in as well. I don't think it was anyone in particular. I am going to try and hurry up here because I've been talking for ages already. Question number 2. What is your favourite level crossing? Mechanical bell and favourite electronic bell? I don't really know what my favourite mechanical bell is. I mean, most mechanical bells are really nice. Probably, the Griswold one's nice, but that's what we have here. I don't know for that one. I don't think I have a favourite mechanical bell, because to be honest, I think just finding a level crossing with a mechanical bell is something. I'm not really too concerned about what kind it is. My favourite level crossing electronic bell is the Western Cullen Hayes e-bell, which is what they use here. I think it sounds nicer than the General Signals and the SafeTran. What is your favourite old lift? My favourite old lift is the one I talked about earlier, which is the old gated express lift at the old government building at Victoria University Pipitier campus. It's in such amazing condition, and it's just an amazing old lift. And last question from Lift and Rail Photography NZ is, do you prefer diesel or trolley buses or battery power buses? Well, I've never been on a battery powered bus as of yet. They're not coming till next year. We're getting some double-decker battery powered buses in Wellington next year. Thank you, Transit. Now, as for trolley buses and diesels, I loved the trolleys. I have to say that. The problem is though, once I've been on a trolley bus and I filmed the trolley bus, I've filmed the trolley bus. That's it. It's over. But with diesel buses, there are so many different types of things out there. The thing is, I like them both. For me, it's not necessarily how they're powered, it's how they sound. It's about whether I enjoy listening to the sound of that engine, whether I think it's a nice sound or not. The trolley buses made a really nice sound, but so do a lot of diesel buses. So I don't think whether or not it's diesel or trolley or battery power buses is really anything to do with is not to do with my preference. It's to do with how it actually sounds. Whether it's diesel or trolley is irrelevant in that case. So I hope that answers your question there. So it's not about how they're powered, it's about what they sound like. Okay, 2 questions now from Daniel Wrench. How would you summarise your first year at university? Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's had its ups and downs. I mean, I mean, there've been some things I've done where I've been to lectures or tutorials and I've just been bored shitless, but there have been other times when I've really enjoyed it, and I've wished the lecture could go on for another hour because I've enjoyed it so much. And second question from Daniel Wrench: do you prefer the independence of university life versus high school? Yeah, I think I do. I think the only problem is sometimes I will have so much free time on my hands that I don't know what to do with it. But yeah, I like the independence of it. I think so. Okay, next question comes from Rahan OMSI2 Content and More. Have you ever ridden a Mitsubishi lift? Yes, I have. I've ridden a few actually, and you can find videos of them on my channel from 2014. Well, they would have been uploaded 2015. Some of them would have been filmed in 2014. And we don't have any Mitsubishi lifts in New Zealand, as far as I'm aware, but I have been in some in Hong Kong and Singapore. I filmed them, the ones at the Grand Harbour Kowloon Hotel in Hong Kong, which got some really nice high-rise 1990s Mitsubishis. It was a bank of 6 lifts. I've also been in a hydraulic one at Hong Kong Airport, which was, yeah, I mean, hydraulics, not quite my thing, and I got it going down, so. And also I filmed some really nice Mitsubishi MRLs at the Singapore skyline as well, and there's a couple of videos of those as well, and you can find them on my channel. In fact, if you go into my playlists, I've got some playlists from overseas. I've got one playlist for UK videos, and I've got another playlist that's got all of my Hong Kong and Singapore videos in it. And if you go into that Hong Kong and Singapore playlist, you should find what you're looking for in there. Okay, the next 3 questions come from Jack Crooks. Hi Alex, I have questions for you. Yes, I can see that. Have you been on the trolley buses on the 31st of October, which I believe is the last one for them? Yes, I have. My tribute video to the trolley buses got uploaded the other day, and there are some clips on there that I filmed on that last day. I haven't got around to uploading all of the footage that I filmed that day, and that probably now won't happen until after I come back from my holiday, if I remember to bloody upload it, which I hope I will. So I should get around to uploading that. If I don't do it, Jack, maybe you should remind me when I come back from holiday, Jack. Hey, you could do that for me, eh? Hey, that'd be awesome. So maybe when I come back from holiday next week, you can remind me and I'll upload the footage. Question 2, if yes, is there a video of one? I think I've already answered that question. And question 3, what is your favourite ex-Auckland bus? Well, the problem is, there's a lot of ex-Auckland buses here. I mean, there's the ones that NZ Bus have brought down, and then there's the ones that Mana have brought down from Hurricane Eastern. The problem is, with NZ Bus, I haven't been on their Scania ones yet, but I've been on Scania buses before anyway with Mana. Enviro 200s I've been on before, and the 700s I've been on before, because Go Wellington have those anyway. I like them, but I wouldn't necessarily consider them to be even though they're ex-Aucklands, I wouldn't consider them for the position of best ex-Auckland bus, because we already have that type of bus in Wellington anyway. So I think that doesn't count. If I were to count them, I would say the 700s, because they're freaking awesome. As for the buses that Mana brought down from Auckland, we've got a lot of different ones. There's the MAN 18223s that they brought down, which only transit operate in Wellington. I have been on a transit one, but they're based in Marston. Oh my god, the battery's dying. And there's also the Fairfax and Coachwork Auckland buses that come down, that I'd never been on a Fairfax or Coachwork Auckland bus before those came down. I really like those Fairfaxes that have the dinging bell, but I'd have to go with the MAN 18223s that Mana brought down for Howick, because they are better buses than those Fairfaxes, I will say that. So I've got to go with the 18223, there's no doubt about that. Okay, quickly, because the battery's running low, the last of the new questions is Aaron Komai. One question, is the buses from Auckland painted in blue going to be painted into the new Go Wellington colours? Oh boy, this is a difficult question. Okay, Probably not. Now, I don't work for NZ Bus, so I don't know what they're planning to do. All I can really do here is give my honest opinion. I don't think they will, because you've got 80 Metro livery in Auckland, which the buses are going to have to be repainted into if they go back to Auckland. But if they stay in Wellington when the contracts change over, they'll have to go into Metlink livery. So either way, they'll have to be repainted, whether they stay in Wellington next July or whether they go back to Auckland next July. And painting buses is really, really expensive. NZ Bus are simply probably not going to want to fork out loads of money to paint 40 buses yellow and black, to then have to paint them again in 6 months' time. It's simply just not worth it. Okay, that's the end of those questions, but I do have a few questions from my last Q&A that I just want to quickly revisit because the answers have changed. So in my last Q&A, NatZZZ9119 asked me what computer I had, and I said I had a Dell Dimension E520 or something like that. That's now changed. I have a Dell Precision 390. Old, yes. It was second hand when I got it. It's running, and I'm running Windows 7. So that's that. And lastly, 2 questions from Benno, who was involved in my Q&A in 2014 before I sort of fell out with him. Do you have any BAE hybrids in NZ? The answer to that question is still no, but I thought I would just mention that we have got some new electric buses coming to Wellington next year, which will be built in China. Well, there'll be Chinese chassis and running gear, but Kiwi Bus builders body. There'll be double-decker. There'll be 10 of them coming into service in the middle of next year. So there will be some electric buses. Still no hybrids in NZ though. Not just BAE hybrids, not hybrids at all. And Benno also asked, do you have any old buses in regular passenger service? Well, I wanted to bring this up because we do still have some old Volvo B10Ms from 1983, and we still have some MAN SL243s in occasional passenger service in Wellington, and there's still some in Auckland that are in service. But the days are dying fast, and pretty soon a lot of the 1990s buses in Auckland and Wellington will be out of regular passenger service as well, and in Dunedin. Hamilton's already vastly modernised their services. We really are entering a period at the moment where there's a lot of modernisation of buses in our cities, and a lot of these older buses are going to be gone from regular passenger service soon. Though I find though that the best chance of getting on an old bus, other than just sheer luck, is rail replacements. Is getting on some of the old buses that NCS sometimes use for rail replacements. That can be really, really handy. So, but I don't know how long those will last before they get replaced, especially if NCS buy any buses second hand from NZ Bus. When the contracts change, they might get rid of the SL202s, I don't know. And that's the end of the Q&A. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for sending in these questions. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to me answer those questions as much as I have enjoyed answering them. The battery is running low on this camera, and I want to charge it up before I go on holiday. So that's it for now, guys, and I will see you all next time. Bye.